Yeah. Hi, don't talk to strangers. I'm Pat. This is the early to mid-game CQC rogue. So look, I'm a very simple guy. I ain't that smart, but I do know what I want, and I want toughness, damage, and some brain-dead gameplay. Something that doesn't really care what's happening around it, but, you know, is still fairly enjoyable because of how much activity is involved in it. And this is what I ended up with. It's tougher than a barb, has crowd control, has clearing, and has boss damage. I feel builds like this are important because you're going to spend a lot of time in the mid-game, especially if you're playing mostly solo like I am. Although I'm pretty sure this is going to scale very well. Now, let's talk gameplay. After the gameplay, I'm going to take a quick look at the aspects and skills that I chose. The gameplay loop revolves around two things: shadow imbuement and poison imbuement. Shadow imbuement turns everybody into a walking corpse explosion, allowing you to clear rooms with impunity. And poison is simply busted. It is a dot effect based on the damage of your attacks, which combined with the rogue's startlingly strong up-close toughness, thanks to Dark Shroud, Concealment, Sturdy, and Siphoning Strikes, which by the way heals you for 1% of your life when you crit someone close to you. Combine that with the CQC Close Quarters Combat passive, you're going to attack a lot, crit a lot, and heal a lot. Gameplay largely revolves around when to use your imbuements: shadow imbuement when there's a lot, poison imbuement when there's a big target. For some people, that's enough to know, but for those of you who want to know the nitty-gritty, let's take a look. Take it away, Recording Pat. In an effort to keep this short, I will only talk about the most important skills. We'll start with Puncture. Every third cast slows enemies by 20% for 2 seconds, which is good because the next enhancement is Enhanced Puncture, which gets you 2 energy when puncture damages a controlled enemy. That's fine so far, it lets you sustain your damage. But taking this upgrade allows us to throw 3 blades in a spread, each dealing 35% of its base damage. Now, hitting an enemy with at least 2 blades at once makes them vulnerable for 2 seconds. Vulnerable is a very good debuff. It doesn't count as crowd control, but it does increase everybody's damage, especially your own. Our spender is Flurry, an imbuable cutthroat ability. It also heals you whenever it damages a crowd-controlled or vulnerable enemy. And then it can let you stun after you're bait through someone, which encourages very aggressive play. We also pick up Sturdy passive. You gain 12% close damage reduction, so you are incentivized to hug people because you want more than 2 blades to hit someone to make them vulnerable and for your flurry to hit. And while you're there, you may as well heal while you're critting them for up to 3% of your maximum life at rank 3. That does not seem like a lot, but you're going to be critting and hitting a lot of people at the same time. Our primary defensive tool is Concealment, which puts us into stealth for 4 seconds. It also makes you unstoppable and allows you to break out of crowd control such as stuns and blinds, and gives you energy if you pick up the next upgrade, Enhanced Stealth, which you should, and also makes things vulnerable when you break stealth by attacking. Countering stealth is also good because it lets you crit when you come out of stealth, allowing you to proc more of your heals and abilities, but I prefer subverting stealth to make our vulnerables more consistent. A secondary defensive tool is the Dark Shroud. Surround yourself with up to 5 protective shadows. Gain 10% damage reduction per active shadow. Each time you take direct damage, that damage is reduced and the shadow is consumed. But with an upgrade, there's a 10% chance for it to not be consumed. And you also gain more crit chance while you have at least 4 active shadows on. Here we go. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's start with Shadow Imbuement. So your next 2 imbuable skills deal shadow damage and infect enemies for 6 seconds. Infected enemies explode on death, dealing 498 damage, or 56% of your damage, I guess, to all surrounding enemies. If you don't get to kill them, it'll still damage the affected enemy for the same amount. You have, with Enhanced Shadow Imbuement, you've gained increased critical strike against injured enemies, or enemies who have less than 35% of their maximum life, which, you know, bosses. And when you do kill someone with Shadow Imbuement, when you get blended Shadow Imbuement, things around them become vulnerable, allowing you to continue the chain of pain. And then there's Poison Imbuement. Imbue your weapons with lethal poison. Your next 2 imbuable skills deal poison damage and apply 168 of their base damage as additional poison damage over 6 seconds. You'd pick the upgrade, of course, which increases the duration of the poison, which means it deals more damage. And the final upgrade is a toss-up for me, but I prefer blended Poison Imbuement. Crits deal a 75% increased poisoning damage. It's pretty much the same with mixed Poison Imbuement, but it's a lucky hit. It doubles the damage, of course, but I can't control that. I can control my critical strikes. I cannot control lucky hit. We also dipped into the poison passive, Deadly Venom, increasing our poisoning damage, maxing that out. Debilitating Toxins, increasing our toughness because we're going to be up close and personal. We don't want someone to whack us to death. So when they're poisoned, we also deal less damage. Here's the thing, I don't think alchemical advantage is that great. You gain plus 1% increased attack speed for each enemy you poisoned, up to 15%. That seems good, but most of the things you're gonna poison aren't gonna last a long time, so you're not really getting that much value. For our key passive, we take Close Quarters Combat. When we damage a close enemy with a Marksman or Cutthroat skill, which is, by the way, Puncture and Flurry, you gain a 10% attack speed bonus for 8 seconds, allowing us to build up our combo much faster and basically be safer. And when both attack speed bonuses are active, we deal 20% more damage against crowd-controlled enemies, which, by the way, our Puncture does on every third cast because it makes them slow. Since we have a lot of survivability, I recommend taking more damaging passives if you have extra points, and you will. This isn't even level 50 yet, this is level 47. Exploit for just increased damage against healthy and injured enemies. And Malice, so you hurt more vulnerable enemies. It's tougher than a Barb, which is wild. Our specialization, by the way, is combo points. Our basic skills now generate combo points. Core skills consume combo points for additional effects. This is your combo points. It's a little low. I wish it were over your cursor, but here we are. So we hit thrice with Puncture, causing a slow, likely causing a vulnerable as well, and then whack him with a Flurry. All the day. That's a lot of damage. It's a lot of speed. It's a lot of power. As you saw in the gameplay video, I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter how low a level I am. They're not gonna kill me. That's not true though. They are gonna kill you, the big heavy swingers. One of the bosses in the Capstone dungeon almost killed me with one hit. So you have to play a little smart against what is obviously a big damage dealer. Okay, that's done. Ugh, this is the dry part of the video. Let's talk gear. I'm gonna be primarily talking about passives you can find in dungeons, because in the mid-game you cannot reliably find every passive ever or even get a good roll of them. So with dungeon aspects, it's something guaranteed. It's something you can control, which is why I love them. Rapid Aspect is a very good option. Basic skills gain 15% attack speed, allowing you to build your combo faster and get your attacks off faster. This is probably the most important aspect you can get. Aspect of Encircling Blades. Flurry damages enemies in a circle around you instead of just in front of you and deals more damage. It also supports the idea of just rushing in and hitting people, because you need to be close. People need to be close to you for you to be at your maximum value. I actually really like Aspect of Siphoned Victuals. Even though you're super tough, even though you've got heal, sometimes you're going to need a little bit more heal or heal on demand. Aspect of Siphon Victuals does that for you by giving you a chance to drop a healing potion when you whack a vulnerable enemy with a core skill. Aspect of the Expectant is a generic one that a lot of players probably should use. Attacking enemies with a basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill cast by 5%. Usually we're going to get this up to the third cast because we build our combo and want to unleash our Flurry and Imbuements immediately. But sometimes I get stuck just throwing blades at people because it sounds so nice. So we get max value. I also like Aspect of Arrow Storms. We want a lot more damage. This doesn't necessarily synergize with anything, but it is extra damage over time. Your Marksman skills, which is Puncture, Flurry is a Cutthroat skill, have up to 10% chance to create an Arrow Storm at the enemy's location, dealing 1080 physical damage over 3 seconds, and you can have up to 5 active Arrow Storms. Also like Aspect of Might basic skills, which you're going to use a lot. Grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds. I'm also a big fan of Aspect of Disobedience, even though I'm not sure I used that on the Capstone run. You gain increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 25%, which, by the way, poison counts. Aspect of Corruption is also a very good one for you. Your Imbuement skills have a 20% increased potency against vulnerable enemies. Guess what you can do very easily? And if you think, apply Vulnerable, you're right. Here's an aspect you actually cannot get out of the dungeon, but I really like. Damaging an elite. Oh no, you can't get this out of a dungeon. Energizing Aspect is also very good because rogues do not generate energy by attacking. They only develop it over time. So Energizing Aspect gets rid of that problem, because when you damage an elite enemy with a basic skill, you gain free energy. So now you don't have to manage your resources as much and you can keep doing what you want. So that's it. That's the build. I hope you enjoy using it if you decide to. I personally had a lot of fun with it. It's very active, very arcadey, very twitchy, so it appeals to me. And do let me know if you want to see more information or even less information or whatever. The feedback helps a lot. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on twitch.tv/PatinatorTV, because we'll eventually be streaming there some more. Have fun in Sanctuary. I am Patinator. I will see you later.